So we're going to be talking about consumer surplus and producer surplus. I'm going to begin by talking about consumer surplus. Consumer surplus is the maximum that a consumer is willing to pay. It is the perceived value that they've placed on an item, good, or service. The format they use is CS for consumer surplus is the WTP, willingness to pay, subtracting the price of the item. Then we have a marginal buyer. A marginal buyer will leave the market if the price is too high. Next, we have producer surplus. Producer surplus is the minimum that a seller will accept for their good or service. A seller has their perceived benefit. What can they gain from selling this product? The equation is the PS. The producer surplus equals P, the price, minus the cost. A marginal seller is a seller who will leave the market if the price is too low. Here we have the price of an iPhone over time. We can see that when they first started, the phones were more expensive because it was a new product. They had to make money so that they could begin selling their products. But as it kind of started to level out, moving up, and then as time passes, we see the price begin to rise more steadily. It has a brief fall, but mostly it's rising higher and higher. Now we have iPhone sales over time. As you can see, as time progresses, more iPhones are being sold, but when prices first started to rise, sales did have a bit of a dip before rising again. However, because iPhones have become such a staple good, they've become something that people want, generally, even with higher prices, people are still willing to buy them. However, a lot of people will switch instead to items like Samsung, which may be cheaper, or you have many companies like Google and Samsung both run on Android devices, but have different price ranges. And then you also have phones like Vizio, which are generally considered cheaper. Next, we have total surplus. That is the combination of consumer surplus and producer surplus. Adding those together will give us the totals. So we will have our consumer surplus, let's say $400. And then we'll have the producer surplus, let's say $500. Combine those together, what's the total surplus? $900. And that is what the market surplus is going to look like. If you want to have equilibrium in the market, what you have to do is find the price that most buyers are willing to pay and most producers are willing to sell at. And that's how we will find a equilibrium in our surpluses. And that's what gives us our average competitive market. So finding our total surplus, we also will find that our consumer surplus is the price that is below the demand curve and above the price. That would be this section here. And then our producer surplus is above the supply curve here and below the price. That gives us this right here. And this section here is our total surplus. So, we're going to be talking about consumer surplus and producer surplus. We're going to start with This equation is the PS producers is the nope. We also have total surplus. That's going to be the combination of the consumer and the producer surplus. So if the consumers are saving, I paused too long. Let's check the notes. Did I miss anything? Editing me? Did I miss something? Do you have it?